I think right now would be a perfect time to share that this podcast is officially sponsored. And this week's episode is brought to you by Juliana Barbati Consulting. Juliana is an expert in podcast SEO. She's worked with so many different podcasts and helped shows grow, helped shows get more eyes, helped shows get more ears, helped shows, get more followers. And I am honored to be working with her and have her team backing the podcast. So I'm very excited that they are the first advertiser to join the Round 2 podcast, first of many. So thank you, Juliana. And if you are looking for any sort of services to help your podcast grow, feel free to reach out to her. Her contact information is in the show notes. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Round 2 podcast. I am your host, Nikki Corbett, and I am super excited to come to you with another exciting guest. I've got Eric Mech here with me from the Purpose Company. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be here today. I don't know, every day is a great day, right?
Yeah. Hey, that's the attitude, right? You're like me, glass half full. Like, we're positive people.
That's right. I mean, there's two ways to be infectious or contagious, either bad or good, and I choose to be good, right? I choose to be so good to be so bad. I mean, you just got to be infectious, man.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
Heck yeah. I love that. That is so funny. I've never heard it, but I will take it. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, as I've been saying more and more on these shows lately, that my guests are people that I have met and become friends with because of LinkedIn, which if you would have told me like 3 years ago that would be a sentence that comes out of my mouth on a regular basis, I would have laughed in your face and been like, what? That like website that you go to when you need a new job? And now it's like where I've made all these amazing connections and new friends from all around the world. It's so cool.
It is so cool. I've made so many great connections, and what's cool is just the caliber of people that are on there are really, truly amazing. And, I think in such a world we're in of lost connection, we have to learn how to reconnect in a digital space. And it's so important to make relationships and just be you, right? Yeah. I mean, quit trying to pose as this and that.
Right.
Show up as your authentic self and share the good news. I always believe that vulnerability gains trust and trust creates transformations. So be vulnerable. Just be you, man. We're all a bunch of misfits from Misfit Island, and let's just have a good time.
Okay, you literally are like already proving to be like my perfect guest, because this is like exactly one of the things I've been talking about so much lately, is that despite the fact that we have all of these digital connections, we're more connected than literally at any other time in our life with all of these apps, with being able to get on FaceTime, Zoom, you name it. People are still like craving connection more than ever. And so my goal with this podcast is to bring people on who, just emit like authenticity and who are comfortable sharing their story and comfortable saying like, hey, this is like the shitty thing that I survived, or this is the shitty hand that I was dealt at this point in my life. But like, here's how I took that and here's how I changed for the better from it. So thank you for that excellent lead-in. You almost did it better than I do.
That's right. Come on. We have to show up to grow up, I mean, we just got to take the ways of this world out and just be you. Man, show up. Come on.
I mean, it's so true. There's only one you. It's funny. I recorded with a guy yesterday and he was so cute. He's a younger founder. He's doing really, really great things in the tech space. And when we talked about doing a podcast together, at first he was like, well, here's all the business points that I want to make. And I was like, no. I'm like, we need to talk about you. And he was like, okay. And I was like, what was one of the reasons why your company advisors told you that you needed to be on a podcast? And he said, well, they told me that people need to understand like who's the face behind the brand. And I was like, so we're going to talk about you and your story. And he was so nervous and it was so charming. And we absolutely nailed it. Like we hung up and I was like, dude, we have so many good clips because you were just yourself and you told me your life journey to getting here. And that's the best. So speaking of journeys, where in the heck are you from?
My mother's womb. But no, in all seriousness, I live in Minnesota, the great state of Minnesota. Well, actually, I was born in Iowa, but I was raised in Minnesota, left Minnesota for a little bit, came back. I don't know why I keep coming back. It's cold. It's cold here. What the heck?
Well, you
But
got the
it's the
Vikings.
truth.
Are you a big Vikes fan?
I just don't spend a ton of time watching football, so
Uh
I'm probably not your typical dude. That's all right. I just like to do things. I like to have more experiences than watching TV. I mean, every once in a while
Hey,
I'll
I
watch them.
love that.
I can be on a bandwagon if I need to, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, they had a good season last season, so I thought maybe you might have, got a
Um,
little excited.
we get all the recycled football players, right? We got Brett Favre. Now we're going to have Aaron Rodgers, and we had Herschel Walker.
Yeah,
Whatever. I don't know.
yeah.
I don't pay attention to that. I got too many other bigger things to do.
So aside from the excellent weather, what keeps dragging you back to Minnesota?
Well, family. I have 3 boys here, and so
Okay.
obviously I don't want to leave them. And obviously my beautiful lady that I'm with, I don't want to leave her, of course. So naturally, yeah. So I'm here. I keep saying I'm gonna go somewhere warm, and I think I will. I think I'll be a snowbird. I think I'll probably find a place down south and now with the work I do from where I was, I totally have the freedom to do all of that. And so now that I have that freedom, my youngest is 17 and he's going to be kicking it out. Yeah, I got some thoughts on going somewhere warm. So I was just in Mexico. I was just in Arizona doing some speaking and all kinds of things. And yeah, I didn't want to come back.
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you were saying that about being a snowbird and getting a place somewhere warm to go to when it gets real cold. My parents, that was their idea. So they bought a condo in Arizona. We're like, oh, this will be our like January through March place. And now California hardly sees them because they're like, we love it here.
Truth. It is.
Yeah.
Arizona is great. I was just in Arizona and we were with our clients there. But anyways, there was those cars, these Waymo cars. I'm like, what's a
Oh,
Waymo?
yeah.
What is this? And it's a driverless
car. Yeah.
Not so sure about that. I'm not.
So
sure
here's something funny about those. So they're called Waymos. And what's funny about that is the greater Phoenix area was actually one of their first like beta testing areas. So of anywhere that they have Waymos right now, and they're all over San Francisco too, which like terrifies me because of all the hills and all the one-way streets. Like I went to visit a girlfriend there in February and I got to her place and I was like, I literally just saw like 8 Waymos over the last 3 blocks. And she's like, oh no, they're everywhere. But the ones in Arizona, they've been riding around there since like 2015, 2016. So those I would trust. Now, have I done it yet? No. But I keep telling myself, okay, next trip to see mom and dad, I'm gonna try a Waymo from the airport. And then I'm like, oh, I chicken out and I get a lift. But I really want to do it.
Yeah. I was in the car business for 24 years. And I remember when rear backup cameras came out and people were still like,
Totally.
I'm like, look in the screen. It's right there. It's a camera.
It's right there.
And now I'm saying I won't go in a driverless car. So I kind of contradict myself. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy with technology.
Yeah.
Right? But it's afforded us a lot of things. And it's afforded me this opportunity.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I can't live without my backup camera. Like I get nervous when I'm in a car that doesn't have one. I'm like, oh, I hope there's nothing back there. Like,
yeah, right. Right. Yeah, right. Like the garbage cans are behind me. Yeah, I mean,
let's hope there's no cats that sprint by, Jeez, Louise.
That's true. There's truth to that. Yeah. No, that's good.
All right. So tell me a little bit about your journey into the professional world. What was your first job? What got you moving and grooving?
My first job? We want to go back that far?
I'm just curious where you started.
Wow. I started out mowing lawns.
Yeah.
I started out mowing lawns for $5.
Nice.
I got to mow. I'll never forget. I get to mow my neighbor's lawn for $5. He taught me how to mow the lawn. Like you mow it one way this time, and the next time we mow it this way, and then this way. But what I do remember about those times, it wasn't necessarily the $5, but it was he was interested in what I was as a kid and what I was doing. And I mean, they'd always feed me good food and never forget the ice cold pops that it used to get from mowing lawns and then having conversations with him and learning from him. And he was drinking his Blatz beer with his tomato juice inside of it.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah. So that was my first job was mowing lawns. And then from there, I started off like in the real work world. I started off at a place called Mappo's Chicken, and it was like this fried chicken place. And
was it delicious?
It was so good. It was so
Yeah.
good. The
I
best part
bet.
was just the breading
Mm-hmm.
that came off the chicken that was just kind of sitting there, and you're like,
Yeah. Nice
kind
and
of tasted.
crispy.
Yeah, it tastes like bacon, right?
Oh, that sounds so good. I love a fried chicken.
Right? Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
But what was even better was the rice. The rice was so good, and so it's funny to this day. I kind of try to simulate that same rice flavoring like when I had from then because it brings me back to that time. And that was a great job. And then, of course, then I upgraded and started working at Hardee's. Worked at Hardee's for a little while. That was good. I learned a
Mm-hmm.
lot, I guess, about deep frying fries and
Yeah.
making roast beef sandwiches and hard buns that were. And I thought working in the drive-through was the best thing ever, right? Had the thing, the earpiece. I was all
Yeah.
cool and all that, and I wasn't that cool, but I felt like I was.
Correct me if I'm wrong. So my first real job, right? I babysat and did those things, but my first real job where I had to like fill out an application and I was a W-2 or whatever it was. And I worked at a pizza place and you basically started out folding boxes and then you moved to answering phones. And then once you were proficient at those two things, they would let you do sauce and cheese. Once you could nail the sauce and cheese for a few weeks, then you got promoted to putting on toppings. And
Mm.
so it was like this hierarchy. And like the final one was actually like making sandwiches and then running them through the grill. So I would imagine that maybe getting to like the drive through, like you've done some things to get there.
I'm telling you. And so that's really cool because this leads into later stuff, but those achievements, right? Like I got off the grill and I got onto the register. Not only did I get on the register, then I got onto the drive through. I mean, I kind of felt like I never went to manager at that point, but that was okay. And then I was like, I kind of was tired of being greasy, right? Getting out the grill and
Yeah.
being greasy. I was just like, I don't like this greasy stuff. And I remember
uh,
sliding on the floor in the grease. Oh, it was just all bad. I
oh
mean,
God.
that was bad.
Yeah.
And then from there, I worked at a hardware store. That was great. I got to learn how to cut keys, cut glass, cut my fingers, sharpen knives, sharpen lawnmower blades, learn how to fix lawnmowers just until I didn't. And that didn't was unfortunately got in an altercation with another kid, and that didn't go so well. And so I got let go of that job, which is crazy. And it's funny, I can look back now. That's the only job I've ever been let go of is that.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy how you have these experiences, especially like in our like younger years where it's just it's like a core memory and it's so profound and formative. And there's some of those things that just stay with you and you can just like remember back. But then you can also, when you get to a certain age, you're able to look back and go, oh, like this really helped shape this trajectory of my life.
So true, because I think anything we do in the past is always leading us to our future and that we can learn from it. My saying is always be the student and the teacher will show up.
Mm.
And I've always learned to be a student of whatever it is that I'm doing, whether it was mowing the lawns, flipping burgers, or cutting keys. Yeah. I was always learning from that. And I mean, I remember names of keys. I remember certain glass cuts. I remember certain lawnmower blades. I remember certain, certain ways to make burgers.
Yeah.
And so those are cool lessons to learn,
They're super cool lessons to learn.
Yeah.
So I'm so curious about your story and like how you became this vibrant, positive guy. What was your, family situation like growing up? Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I do. I have a sister. Mom and dad got divorced when I was a sophomore. And it's easy for me to tell the story now through the lens that I can look through and attach certain language to, but at times I never felt like I measured up. At times I never felt like I was good enough. My grades weren't always great. I was kind of more into the social acceptance. Was bullied in school at times. I remember sitting and my ears were bigger and kids were flicking my ears on both sides at lunch and always doing that. And then there was brutal. That. I know, right?
Jeez.
And then I felt like I was the cause of my parents' divorce, like there was something I was doing, but I know I wasn't. But I remember hurting myself intentionally so that my parents would stop arguing. And I felt like there was at times like form of rejection, not feeling enough, certain things my dad would say to me, like just made me feel like I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't there. And so those were probably very, what's the word? Let's call it the clay in the potter. Those were very formed times in my life where I was being molded a certain way to make certain decisions. And so I would go out of my way to be accepted. And of course, then it became in the social aspect of where I was really trying to be maybe something I wasn't, trying to be the cool kid, but I was a rule follower. I never got in trouble in school. I never, other than grades, I'd get my report. I knew when my report card was coming home and I'd get to the mailbox before my parents would get it.
It's funny. We have that somewhat similar in common. Like, I mean, I definitely did get in trouble, but what I always found was so funny is that like within my friend group, like I definitely had the strictest parents where, we would do something stupid, we'd get caught for it. And then like my friends would just be like, okay, like my mom got mad at me. And I'd be like, I'm literally grounded for the rest of the summer. Like, awesome. Love that.
Yeah,
thanks,
right.
Mom.
The rest of the summer, grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was tough. And then my parents got divorced when I was a sophomore. I think I grew up more then. I just really helped to take care of my mom. My mom went through some tough times to take care of my sister, but I did graduate. So that was the good news. I did graduate. Yeah. Went out to college out in Oregon.
Oh, okay.
My great uncle was the president of the college at the time. And so I kind of got in that way. I didn't last out there. Works. I know. I didn't last out there very long. What's funny is, again, I was this social guy. So I was trying to fit in with everybody and dating different girls and all that at the time. And yeah, those times, again, I think I went through some of those rejection periods, right? Like I was always trying to strive for more, because I thought if I did that, then I would be more accepted. Okay. And I didn't know that at the time. I didn't realize that. I'm 51 now, but I didn't realize that till 3 years ago.
Wow.
What it really was. Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad I finally figured it out. And now I can step into it better. But yeah, so went to college and I didn't last long. And I came back home and I just started working. I started just doing jobs and tried college again, went to sales and marketing class. Mm-hmm. I didn't do anything with that. That didn't last long. School just wasn't my jam.
Wasn't my jam. It's so crazy because like I'm not that much younger than you. I just turned 47 in February. And, it's so interesting because like back then, right? Like you get out of high school, it's like, oh, where are you going to college? Like, what are you doing? And I think it was so unfortunate. And I'm so glad that the times have changed so much because I know that there were plenty of kids where college just wasn't for them. And it just like, it wasn't where they were going to thrive. And now it's like, it's totally okay to like go a different route or do something different right out of college. And there's so many other ways where, I mean, you have kids in high school, like learning how to code and then they go and get these like, 6-figure tech jobs because they're killing it at whatever code they learned how to write. Whereas before it'd be like, oh, well, how are you going to get a job if you don't go to school? And so I'm grateful that has changed, but obviously you figured it out. So what did you go and get involved in?
Yeah, that's funny you say you got to figure it out. I hope I never have figured it out because
okay, fair.
I think it's always a process, right? And if you haven't figured out, then you're done growing and you're never going to keep learning. And so I'm always in that always learning mode and then applying it and showing others. So that's that student first, teacher next.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting, but kind of fast forward through some of those jobs. And then I started dating my former wife and we got married. Didn't know if we could have kids, ended up adopting a kid. And then we found out we could have kids. And next thing you know, we're pregnant. But I knew I had to be a provider. I called on a car dealership, a small town dealership, and I was calling on them to sell them a service, check and credit card service. And then they talked to me about, would you ever consider selling cars? And I'm like, well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about cars. I mean, not a lot, but sure, why not? I remember in high school, a few buddies would just go test drive cars just for the fun of it.
Yeah, it's
fun.
You
could do that back then.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, I got hired on in 1998 as a car sales guy, and I started really enjoying what I was doing. And then I saw guys ahead of me doing lease manager, finance manager, sales manager, this, and I started like, man, this is really cool. And then there was the guy that hired me was the trainer. And what he was doing was it like clicked with me like, man, that's really cool. I think I want to do that, but how do I get there? And I just started figuring it out and became successful at selling cars. And then I became the lease manager, and then I became the finance manager, and then I became the trainer. So fast forwarding 98 to then 2005, I was doing really well. I just believe that the more you achieve, the better you look and you're accepted. So this is carried on now into my adulthood.
Yeah.
But I was gone from family a lot, 60 hours a week, always working. And started wearing on our relationship. But I always believe you got to provide. And what I always believed was if you chase the title and you chase the money, you'll do well. And that's exactly what I did is I chased the money and I chased the title. And well, in 2005, one of my quotes by Michael Josephson that I've lived by is an ethical person ought to do more than he's required to do and less than he's allowed to do. And so I would always do more than I was required to do, feeling like if I did that, I would show effort. And if I showed effort, I'd be accepted to do something bigger. And it worked. So I think I attached even more of that acceptance to things. And then 2005, I was asked to go over and run one of the other stores and be the actual sales manager of the store, which I thought was great. Again, here I'm achieving these great things and I'm making more money. And it was wonderful. And I had great opportunities and I grew within the store. And next thing you know, I'm hiring people, I'm training teams, doing very well. And then I thought, man, how do I get to be an owner? How do I don't even know what this looks like, but I have money, but not that much money. But I had great conversations. And in 2013, I was asked to be a partner in 3 franchise dealerships.
Oh my gosh. Wow. This is so cool.
I got there, right? I got the title, I got the money, I got the cars, I got the big house, I got all these great things. And it was great for a short time. But what started happening was I started losing even more time with my kids, more time in my marriage, and things just started whittling away. But I had this. And by the world standard, I had it all, right? I thought that would make my parents more proud of me. But you know what? It didn't make them any more proud of me than where I was before. But I thought it would because the world says, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, and you'll get here. Well, but I got there and I got to the top. And I kind of like circled the mountain at the very top. I felt like I was just circling and circling and circling and circling. And what I started realizing was nothing that grows on mountaintops. Nothing. I have no more room to grow. There's no more I can go with this. And so I just felt like I was doing this circle and circle and circle, and I was missing something.
I'm sure you've heard that phrase or that saying, it's lonely at the top.
It is.
And I feel like there is no statement more true. I've talked with friends who have started their own businesses, grew them to be worth millions and millions of dollars. And they're the CEO and their company is thriving and they're doing all these things. And they're like, holy shit, this is so lonely.
It is.
Yeah.
So lonely. Now, I had partners and all of that. But because of my idea of acceptance, I always thought there had to be more and I had to get more and I had to get more. And now I was at a point of where I couldn't get any more.
Yeah. So then it's got to be this big look in the mirror moment, right? Like, huge. What do I do now?
Exactly. It's like, what do I do now? And what's next? Like, I don't even know. And because of that, because I chased those things, it left me empty. It left me. And so things just started going downhill. My positive attitude has never changed. I've always been a positive guy. And I love lighting people up and inspiring people. Matter of fact, my tagline at one point was desire to inspire. I love doing that. I love infusing enthusiasm in people.
Right? Doesn't it feel so good? Like one of my girlfriends and I, we trade voice notes like all day, right? And she had 2 really great things. She's doing her own thing right now. And she had 2 really great, people that reached out to her totally unexpected just this week. And as she was yesterday morning, she's sending me, she's like, oh my God, I just got off the call with one of them. And she's telling me all about it. And she's like, and I've got the other call. And I was like literally walking. I was like, yes. Like it was so exciting. And I'm so genuinely thrilled to be that hype person for somebody else when they're doing great things.
there's so many amazing things that come from that, right? And this is what I've learned. So I was so used to working this corporate job. I mean, this I guess corporate, but it was small town, whatever. And I just never thought there was anything else. I mean, here I am, 47, 48 years old, and no college degree. What in the hell am I going to do if I don't do this? And I was making great money. And I had started thinking about, man, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And I had these conversations kind of on a casual basis with my father. And I'll never forget my father saying to me, why would you ever leave? You make more money in God. That would be stupid. And so I kept doing it, all because I was looking for this approval. I was looking for this validation. And lo and behold, my marriage ended and we got divorced. And I had these 3 kids that, they're grown up. 2 of them had already been out of high school. One still is 13. Man, what am I going to, now I got to figure this, I'm going to do this and do this and do this. And, but I did, I stayed. And by all means, the people there were super supportive. They were that, but then there started being some things that weren't lining up, which was fine. And I think there was just a natural way of things were just happening because I think the good Lord was trying to tell me something like, there's something more for you that I have in store for you. Can you just trust me?
Yeah.
And I had to be able to be open and willing to that and not be afraid. But here's what I became more afraid of. I became more afraid to stay than go. I knew then that was the time I needed.
Then it's time. Yeah.
But boy, how am I going to do this? I mean, what does this look like?
Yeah.
And I had conversations and I told my partners, I said, I'm out. It's time for me to go. 24 years at the same car dealership in the same industry. This is all I've known. And they're like, what? What are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'll figure it out. I'm really not sure. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I'll figure it out. I always have, always will. And when I departed, which is crazy, he said, well, you decide when you want to leave and we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do it here, this date. And the date I said was exactly 24 years to the date from when I started.
And did you know that when you gave that date? Or
No,
did it just
I didn't even
realize it after you had set the date?
Yes, I realized it after. I didn't even think about it. But yeah, they were shocked. And I did not know, I didn't realize at the time that the date that I decided to leave would be 24 years later.
That's wild.
So I'm like,
as somebody who's like obsessed with numbers and like synchronicity and all of that kind of stuff, I'm like, that's crazy. And it was so meant to be, right?
So meant to be. And so, yeah, I left and I departed and I felt so much relief. I think what I really realized too, as a leader, I wasn't serving my people as well as they needed to be served. And so it wasn't fair to them either.
Sure.
So left on great terms. It was just fine. And I just knew I had to reset, to refocus and relearn again. But I didn't know what that looked like. But I'm just like, I'm going to take 2 months off. I'm not even going to think about a job.
Good for you. Yeah.
Do this. And I remember people saying, before you make a decision, let me know. And I'm like, yep. And it was more, that was almost a confirmation for me to say, I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
Totally.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And so I left. And then I took some time off, did some stuff with my boys, really enjoyed the time that I had there. And then in October of 2022, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw this purpose company thing. And I'm like, what's that? Like, man, I don't even know what my purpose is. I mean, kind of. I thought I did. I thought it was to be a salesperson. And then I was like, I have this great idea. I had this idea when I was in the dealership that I wanted to be a trainer. I thought I could be the trainer for all stores and it would give me more time freedom. And obviously that didn't work. But then I thought about this. I'm like, man, I got this idea. I just really believe in being real with people. And I think this is what we need. And I came up with this idea of being a real coach approach. That was going to be the name of this business. Like, oh, that's cool. I'd be a real coach with a real approach. Man, this is great. I had a great idea, but I'm like, how in the world do I do this? I don't even have a clue. But when I was on Facebook, I saw Brian Boucher, the owner of the Purpose Company, and then his co-founder, which is Gabriella's wife. And they were talking about, have you ever felt rejected and you weren't worthy and you weren't enough and it's tied to your origin? And I'm like, man, does this guy know me or what?
Right?
What? Like, this is creepy almost.
Yeah.
And the language he was telling, instantly felt this connection. And I'm
Mm.
like, all right, well, do I click on that or do I not? Yep, I'm going to click on it. Click. Oh, now fill this out. And hey, if you want to talk about things and you have an idea, but you're not sure what to do, click here. And I'm like, okay, they're like totally speaking my language here. What's going on?
Yeah.
So I finally got to a phone call with a guy by the name of Rob Martell, great guy from Canada. We had a great conversation. And I never felt like I was being sold. I felt like this guy
Oh,
cared
that's
about
the
me and
best.
he had a
Yeah.
solution for me. And I'm like, man. And he talked about this program where they have these modules and you watch these and then you get on these calls with Brian and Gab, the owners, and they talk you through and walk you through things. And I'm like, man, this sounds really good. This sounds really good. Well, okay, I didn't really go to college. I didn't pay. I don't have college debt. I didn't do this. I've never really invested in myself.
Yeah. Go
Heck,
for it.
let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. I don't know what this looks like, but let's do it.
Yeah.
So I came in as a client.
That is so awesome.
They're going to teach me how to be a speaker and a coach and a consultant. Oh, man, I'm going to figure this out. And it was great. I got on that. I felt like I was accepted. I felt like they understood me. I felt like I was being seen. I felt like I was being heard.
Oh, that's the best.
And I'm like, man, this is such a good feeling right now.
Yeah.
And I got on this group coaching call, and it was the second one with Brian. I'm like, this guy's a genius. Man, I want to do what they're doing. That's what I want to do. Okay, now I want to do what they're doing. How do you do that?
Yeah.
They don't even know me. I've never been a coach or nothing. And I got thinking, hang on a second. Yeah, I have been.
Yeah,
I've
you have been.
been a leader of a business for crying out loud.
Right, right. It's so funny how when you are doing something that you've been doing and you just keep doing it and you keep growing and you keep changing and all these different things, it's almost like you forget like what you're viewed as because you're just continuing to show up and continuing to work hard. And then when you are removed from it, then you can kind of go, wait a minute, that was me.
Yeah.
That was me. Okay. Maybe I do have some experience to share here.
Yes. So true. So true. And I didn't realize it. But when I started going through the stuff, I came to the realization of this rejection part.
Yeah.
And I went through this module and they talked about your origin story. And there's an event or series of events you went through in your life that created your decision-making process. And I'm like, damn, that is it. And then, and he talked about maybe passively or directly that you felt rejected. You felt like you weren't enough. I'm like, all right, this guy's like pulling out my heartstrings now. I'm like, that is me. No wonder why I do the things I do. No wonder why. Oh my gosh, this took me forever to figure this out, but I'm figuring this out.
I think that's great. Like you said, it takes forever to figure out. I feel like a lot of people in our age range have this is the time where we figure it out. I mean, ideally, I would have loved to figure out some of these things when I was 28, but the fact that I've got it at least now, I'm like, whoo, okay, well, this is good to know.
Yeah. And you know what I would say? I'm super glad I never did figure it out at age 28. I'm glad I figured it out now because everything led to this point. Exactly. And I'm at the greatest part of my life right now. And yet I thought the greatest part was owning a dealership and making all the money and having all that. And what I found was that wasn't it. Because what I found was it wasn't providing the fulfillment that I needed. And when I came here and became a client and I started learning the things, but what was really cool is I was allowed to be Eric.
Yeah.
I was allowed to be my true self. And I didn't need to impress anybody anymore. I didn't need to feel accepted. It was enough that I was who I was. And when I showed up as who I was and I started helping clients inside the Purpose Company with what they were doing and encouraging them, that was my, man, that is just like my superpower. That's the cape I wear, as encouragement, enthusiasm, and belief in people. And because I was doing that, all of a sudden people were like, hey, you should meet with Eric. Hey, on our Facebook page, you should meet with Eric. You should, oh my gosh, he gave me this major breakthrough. Meet with Eric. And I'm a client.
Yeah.
But I just felt this drive to help these people. And like literally one person got on a call with me as I'm a client. We're just clients. Like I had them get a breakthrough and they started crying. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is like, my cup is like running over right now. And I'm like, man, how do I get on this? I don't know how I get on this team. I got to figure this out.
Yeah, well, it almost sounds like you were nominated by the group. Like everyone's wanting to work with you. So it's like,
I,
okay, like you worked your way into a job.
I was like, okay, well, I got to figure this out. But I didn't have to figure it out. I just had to keep showing up. And I kept showing up who I was, not having exact clarity on it, but just kept showing up. And in January of 2023, Gabrielle reached out to me and she said, hey, what do you think about coming on our team? And I'm like, yeah, let's talk. And we had a great conversation. And she said, well, we don't have room for a coach right now, but we'll bring you on as a salesperson and we can start there. And I'm like, sounds good. Whatever. You got to start here to go here. I've done this before.
Yeah. You're like, I've seen this film before. Let's go.
Yes. And it was great. So I came on board in 23 and I still kept getting booked to help people. Mm-hmm. Moreover than getting booked for this, what she brought me on to be a salesperson. And mind you, I sucked at it. I was a terrible salesperson at this.
Oh.
I thought high ticket was car sales. No, this was high ticket, different. But to sell their program and help others become speakers, coaches, consultants. And what I was doing was infusing so much enthusiasm and encouragement in people. They were getting success. They were getting wins. They were landing bigger gigs. They were making more money than they've ever made before. They were landing coaching clients. They were seeing breakthroughs they've never seen before. And I said to Gabrielle 2 months later, I said, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm getting booked more for this than this. And she goes, yeah, I don't know what you're doing either, but people love you. So we need to figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm like, sounds good. She got back with me. She said, hey, I think we're at a point we could add Brian's coaching call, my coaching call. Do you want to do a coaching call? I'm like, yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, hell yes.
Let's figure this out. So I came on as a coach then to do a group coaching call, all the while still sales. Mm-hmm. And then finally in July of 23, she said, I just want you on as a full-time coach. I just want you. And now we're going to have mastermind clients. We're going to work with them and you can help work with them and then other things. And fast forward to today, I'm now the head coach of the Purpose Company. We have different programs that we work with people, mastermind. I get to work with some cool people. I get to work with amazing people. I've worked with professional sports players that want to do speaking. I currently am coaching one of the founders of Amazon Web Services.
Awesome.
I've had the opportunity of meeting John Maxwell. I'm going to go hang out with John Maxwell and some other really cool people coming up here in May. But the best part is for me, Nikki, is I finally got clarity on my purpose. Mm-hmm. I finally understood that we define purpose as the best of what you have to give others. And I was doing it all along. I just didn't have a title to it. Yeah. I didn't have a name to it. And now with our purpose factor assessment, I get to walk people through their purpose factor and give them clarity on their purpose. And I get to help organizations make sure their people are aligned so that they can have more fulfillment and they're not getting burned out in their jobs anymore. I get to do this now. This stuff I wish I would have had then, but now I get to do it now.
Yeah.
And I love what I do. I love it. It is.
I mean, I can tell you're just like exuding passion and joy.
Well, it's interesting when you say passion, if you ever look up the definition of passion definition is a barely controllable emotion.
You know, okay, it's so funny you say that because my newsletter this week that came out, I spoke about vulnerability, and the definition of vulnerability is like, ugh, like I don't want that. You know, right. It's like, you know, being bare and like, you know, potential harm's way. And I'm like, that sounds horrible, you know, but it's like you literally started off this conversation talking about vulnerability and how you got to do it. And it's the best way to connect with people. And it's so true. But I was like, when I looked up the definition, I don't like that definition, but I like it in practice.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you got to get raw. You got to get real. You got to take it all off to be vulnerable. It's the truth. And but passion is barely control. So I don't have passion, but I have purpose.
Yes.
And I have the best of what I have to offer others. That's what purpose is. And I get to receive the best that life has to offer, which is fulfillment.
Yeah.
and I get to help others step in and do the same thing. And people that want to be a facilitator and do this for their coaching program, they get to do the same thing. But I just love it, because what I've discovered is through the purpose factor, there's 4 factors that figure your purpose, which is natural advantage, pull passion, acquired skills, and origin strength. Mm-hmm. And natural advantage is something you just do naturally. This is how you show up. And my natural advantage is I'm a teacher. I discovered that through my purpose assessment, that I'm a teacher.
Okay.
And I love to share discoveries to create shared experiences. And I become most fulfilled by connecting with authenticity to create amazing opportunities and inspire others to do the same thing. And so I can no longer say that's just what I do. I can now say it's because I have a teacher advantage. I love to share discoveries to create shared experiences.
This is my favorite thing about doing this podcast, is that I had no idea where the story was going to go. And this was just so captivating and such a beautiful journey that you've been on to get to where you are now.
Yeah, and I'm super excited. I get the opportunity to be with cool people, but I also get the opportunity to help others see this too. I speak all over on stages and share this story, but I share about purpose and the importance of it. And I'm writing a book.
Cool.
Yeah. And it's funny. I hated reading when I was a kid, and I didn't start drinking coffee, get tattoos, and reading books until I turned 40.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I didn't start getting tattoos until I was in my 40s either. And now I'm kind of like, where did this come from?
I know, right? Right?
Yeah.
But what's so cool about it is, before I was apprehensive about doing it, but because where I'm at now today, I've learned I don't need permission to live in my authentic life. And if this is what I choose to do, I do it. And so I've now redefined permission as the unnecessary validation from your peers, your own thoughts, and societal norms. You don't need permission. So my book title is Permission, Stop Waiting and Start Winning.
Yes. And when's it going to come out?
I'm hoping it'll be out by June. I have some major speaking engagements coming up, and I'm hoping it'll be out by June. That's my goal. Writing a book is a challenge, right? I mean, reading a book can be a challenge. Oh, writing a book. I mean, it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
I can only imagine. I actually have a gal coming on. I think I'm recording with her in a couple of weeks, and she helps people, because she's like, everybody has all of these great stories, but she's like, it's hard to write a book. So she has this whole process and this thing that she's been working on, and it sounds really, really amazing, because she wants to help as many people get their stories out into the world. So
yeah, it's so cool. And that's what we do too, is we help people do TEDx's if they want. We help them write their book. So I want to be a product of the product, right? I mean, if they're writing books, I'm going to write a book. But I really feel like that story needs to get out. I think this story will help others break their permission-seeking behaviors, and they'll be able to live the life that they've always wanted and live a more fulfilled life. And that's what I want. Awesome. And to know that you don't need permission to live your life. The fact is, purpose is your permission. And that's all the permission you ever need. And so that's what I want people to do, is don't get stuck in what everybody else says to do or what the world says to do.
Totally.
Live the life that you've always wanted to live, and go do things. Go experience things. Get the tattoos, drink the coffee, and do the things that you really want to do. Yeah. And be positive.
It's so much easier to be positive, isn't it? I feel like it's so much easier than to be negative or to be complaining about things all the time.
I'm telling you, I love it when people are negative and they get in front of me. I'm like, okay, we're going to change this.
Yeah, it's so such a bummer. I'm like, come on, let's have a good time. It's not so serious.
Oh my gosh, life is something. Come on, just go have a good time. Who cares?
Totally. And just live the way you want to live, and know who cares? And if someone's talking about you, it's because they don't have anything else to talk about. So they're going to talk about you. Great. Talk about me. I don't care. I'm sitting in Mexico right now. I don't give a shit. Right. And guess what? It is none of your business what people are thinking. That is one of my favorite statements ever. That it is what somebody else thinks about me is none of my business. Don't care.
Quit being nosy, And so many people are afraid. They don't want to share their story. They just think I don't want to be about me. You have to learn to take you out, put the who in, and you get a win-win. Yeah. This is how it works. And a story untold is a life unchanged. If you don't share your story, you're never going to change a life. So was so excited to be here on your podcast today because I hope somebody in your audience is so inspired to take action on their life today and not wait for tomorrow and change your life. Change your life. It's up to you. You know, people say, well, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. And I say, that's a crock of shit.
Totally.
If it's meant to be, it's up to me.
Yeah.
So
Amen. Go do it. Just go do it. Like,
seriously.
It's so funny. I love this. Like, I'm always so amazed by some of the podcasts that I have with some of the things that my guests say that, like, sometimes I'm like, oh, you were meant to be here today. Like, you chose this date. I didn't choose this date, but you chose this date. You were meant to be here today because some of these things you're saying, like, you were literally meant to say them to me. And I love that because I'm just like, ooh, it's like so perfectly aligned and it makes it feel so good. And I think I actually told you this when we had our intro call, that my goal for this podcast is, and every single one that I put out, is that there is just one person. And if one person hears something and they make a change for their life for the better, or they feel less alone, or they feel less like they, you know, don't have anybody to connect to, then that is the why. That is what makes it all worth it, and why I do this, and why I love meeting all these cool fucking people and sharing your stories.
Yeah, everybody's got one and they're all different. And
yeah,
learn to understand somebody. That's the thing I've learned. It's the other thing. Like, I should have never got divorced. Had I known what I know now, I probably wouldn't be divorced.
Yeah.
I took things as rejection so much that had I learned to look at it through the lens of I was being redirected versus rejected, it would have changed everything.
Wow.
And if I would have learned to understand her, and if I would have learned what her origin story was, I would have learned to understand why she made the decision she made. And it wasn't about me. But if we can all learn, I don't care if you're a leader in corporate, I don't care if you're a parent, I don't care if you're a spouse or if you're a friend, learn to understand the other person, learn to understand them, because you can learn a ton. And if you value them first, they'll value you.
Yeah.
I've always believed that. Like, I want to know about you. I want to hear about you, and how can I help? How can I help change something for you, or give you a different perspective for you to go, that's it. Right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I have clients that are making $500,000, million, $2 million, $10,000, but it isn't even about the money.
No.
It's about the impact that they're making on others' lives because they made a decision to make a change. And that's where the magic happens. Right?
That is so, so true.
And so cool. I will never retire because my purpose never retires until I'm no longer on this earth. Therefore, I have no reason to retire. I have too many lives to impact. And until the day I can't impact lives and be on screen and be on the phone, then I'm going to be here. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I'm living my life on purpose. I'm going to help others see it too.
I mean, you're seriously so captivating. This has almost been one of the easiest podcasts I've ever done because I'm just like, tell me all the things. I want to hear it all. I'm learning. I'm taking it all in. This is great.
Good. Yeah. I mean, not only for your audience, but for you too, that just be you and show up every day. You know, that's the thing. And don't worry about what other people think.
Yeah.
You know, but you got to get clear on your purpose. It wasn't until that did I have these 51 years old. I think I've grown more in the past 3 years than I ever did through any schooling, through any life.
Oh, 1000%.
I mean, it's been incredible. Like, I think people use purpose flippantly and just kind of, hey, I don't know the purpose. But now I look at it through a different lens. It's the best of what it has to offer me, or it's the best of that it has to offer others. As simple as a tree or a cup or a marker or a phone, it's the best of what it has. It's the purpose of it. It's the best of what it has to give. Yeah. And so it's not about you. It's not. Fulfillment comes in its highest form from gratitude. And gratitude is what you hear from others saying that you gave to them. So go give. Go serve.
100%.
Come on. You can do it anywhere. I don't care. You can serve your purpose in any job. And purpose is not something you do. It's something you have to give. And you can do it anywhere. But if you don't know about it or you're not clear on it, it's going to be hard to step into it fully.
Yeah.
It just will be. You got to do it.
I mean, the level of self-awareness that you have and that you've obviously gained over the past few years, I think that that's what's, self-awareness is such a big thing for me, because I feel like if you don't know yourself, like how can you even gauge what you're putting out into the world and how you're impacting others positively or negatively?
Yeah.
And I feel very similarly to you that for me, especially over the last 3 years, like I have grown leaps and bounds because I have focused inward so much on the self-awareness and like my boundaries, whether it's with, any aspect of life, professional or personal, and being able to, actively acknowledge, what am I able to give and who am I and like what are my foundations to move forward in this version of myself.
Yeah.
And it's a cool adventure if you will take yourself on it.
This is it. Self-discovery is the best journey you can ever go on, because it never ends and there's always opportunity. And I never view a problem as a problem. A problem is an opportunity for growth. And so how can I help others solve their problem? I don't want to sell you something. I want to help you solve your problem. And whatever that problem is, let's figure it out. I may not know the exact answer, but I can tell you damn straight, I will stay with you until we figure it out. I will never give up on you. Never, ever, ever, ever give up on you. I'm here for you. I will empower you. I will give you everything you need that I possibly can, but I'm going to make damn sure you do it.
Yeah.
But you also have to fill your cup in order to pour in others' cups.
Absolutely.
And that means either reading a book, experiencing new things. I just wrote this today, Nikki. I read my purpose factor almost every day. I read certain things, blind spots especially. How can I be better today? How can I be better today? How can I be better today? Or what frustrates me? Because it tells me in here, okay, well, how can I turn that into more fulfilling moments? How can I become so fascinated with the frustration that it becomes fulfilling? So always doing that and learning more about yourself, man, jeez, it just gives you more power to help others.
Totally. I was just going to say, like, watch out, world, you get ready and then it's like go time.
Come on. I'll light up a room. I will start it on fire.
Yeah.
And we're all going to get through it because I'm going to walk you through that fire.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And we're going to go and we're going to enjoy that time together. And it's going to be hard, but that's all right. Everything worth having in life is hard. Nothing worth having is easy.
Nothing is easy. Period. Oh my God. I love that. I love that.
When you go through these things, I can just say this, is that the rejection I got in my life was the gift that I was given to help others. And now I'm able to weaponize gratitude and forgiveness towards that. And I can see it as a benefit to me because I have so much compassion, love, empathy for others. That was the gift I was given. And I have no other choice but to be positive and help others. That's it.
This is truly amazing. Thank you for being so open and vulnerable and sharing everything. I have absolutely loved this time with you. Tell everybody how they can find you and reach out to you if they want to discover their purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and if this podcast just grabbed you and you just want to talk through something, I'm just even open for that. And you want to just chat. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'd love to help walk you through that. And so you can either email me at Eric, ERIC, at purposecompany.co, or on LinkedIn too. You can look me up on LinkedIn, Eric Mech, ERIC, MECH. But just email me and just say, hey, I heard the podcast with Nikki. That was great. Man, I'd love to talk more about that. I'd love nothing more to talk. And if you're looking for a speaker to come in and light up a room and really just infuse purpose inside of your organization, I'm your guy.
Hell yeah.
I'll help.
Awesome. Eric, you are the best. I am so grateful to know you. Thank you so much for being here. And everybody, as always, thank you so much for listening, for watching. If you love the show, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube or a follow on Apple. I really appreciate it. And we will talk to you next week. Bye.